Welcome viewers, welcome to my channel. I am Moradio Emmanuel. So today we'll be looking at how to automate our payslip. A payslip is an important document for all staff in an organization. Now, we'll be looking at a sample, a very small organization for the purpose of these lectures. We have employee ID. They have employee, all employees in our nation should have a unique ID. That means for employee ID 1, 2, 3, 4, up to 9. Or in the business world, we have more than 200 staff sometimes. We have their unique code and we have the location. This my database sheet is, let's say, a copy of my payroll. And from this payroll, I want to generate my payslip. Let me rename this sheet to as payslip. Payslip one. Okay. Then, so in automating my payslip, how did I arrive at this employee number? Employee number also means employee ID. Let me use that employee ID. We'll have the same value there. Employee ID. We have the location. Where is this employee located? What department is this employee? What's the name of this employee? So we want to link them, and we'll be making use of three important tools or commands in Excel, which are we have the data validation, we have the name manager, you want to rename a box, we have the VLOOKUP. We can also use XLOOKUP, we can use index and match. But for the purpose of this class, we'll be making use of the VLOOKUP. Now, the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to validate my data. Now, why do I need to validate my data? I want to bring all employee ID to this cell here. I believe the combination of a row and column gives you a cell. So I want to bring my employee ID, their employee ID from my database automatically. I want to bring it here, and then the name also will be in this place. So in doing that, I need to make use of my data validation first. Now, I want to make use of data validation. That's okay. I believe you can see it well. Or let me change the color to red. Data validation is what I'm working on now. Then I'm going to go back to my payslip. Before that, I need to um, rename this column. Yes, I believe I'm correct. The column, yeah. I believe I want to rename it. How? I have two ways of doing that. Either I come to this place where I have my name box to change or to give it a name, or I'll simply pause. So I want to do the right thing before teaching us the shortcuts. Now, I've selected from the first cell to the last employee. I will simply go to my formula bar. Now, this place here, this formula menu bar, I'll click on name manager. I believe you can see it. I'll click on new. I'll give it a name. I'll simply leave it as employee ID and I would close it, okay it, then close. I have done my data validation, the first one. Now, and why doing, sorry, I'm yet to do my data validation. What I just did now was my name manager. So let me do also this. I want to name all this, all the cells, the column and row. Let me name this, and I'm going to use the shortcut. As against coming to the formula, once I click on formula, I'll see my what? My name manager. I'll simply come to this name box and click on it and give it a name by saying staff data. Enter. Now I have done my name manager. Now I want to do the data validation, the first one, sorry. Now, in doing that, I will simply come to my employee ID. What will I do? Watch me. I would go back to I have my insert. What I need is my data. I'll click on data here. Remember, I clicked on this cell here where I want my data validation to appear on, I'll simply click on data, then go after the next to column. I'll be teaching you all these functions. All these shortcuts of short functions are very, very important. But what we need now is data validation. See, you can see data validation. Pick from a list of rows to limit the type of cell data that can be entered in a cell. I'll simply click on this drop down button, click on data validation. In data validation, I have my settings, I have my input message, I have my error alert. But what I need there is the settings. Then this settings, from this setting, I'll click on this drop down button. I'll click on list. I want to list out the employee IDs. How do I get that? There's a shortcut for this. Either I'm going to do the two ways. So let me do the shortcut first. I can just on my keyboard, I'll just click on my F3. F3. It will give me employee ID. What I actually need is the employee ID. I'll select the employee ID and I'll click on OK and I OK it. What has happened? What has happened is if I click on this drop down button, it will give me my the total numbers of employee I have in this organization. Now I want to cancel this and use the other method, the first method I'm supposed to use. What I did here was just a shortcut. So how am I going to cancel it? I will simply go back to that data where validation, click on data validation and click on clear all, and it has gone back to the way it was. If you go back, you won't see a drop down button. So what do I need to do? Go back to my data. I would go to my data validation and click on it. And after clicking on data validation, change, remember, I'm going to select list. And what will I do here? I'll just click on my equal sign, then go to my database and select this. If you watch, it still gave me the name. When I did the shortcut by striking on F3 on my keyboard, employee ID still came out. Then I'll okay, it's okay. I have a drop down button here, and that drop down button has the total numbers of employee, just what I did initially. Fine. Having done this, the next thing I'm going to do is I have done this. I've worked on data validation. I've worked on name manager. Now, the last thing I want to work on is the VLOOKUP. The VLOOKUP, like I told you, it's the full meaning of VLOOKUP is what? The vertical lookup. You're looking at something vertically. So let's see. We also have the HLOOKUP horizontal. We also have the XLOOKUP, but for the purpose of this class, we're going to be using the VLOOKUP. We can also use XLOOKUP. If time permits, we're going to use the XLOOKUP. Now I'll go back to my payslip. Now, what do I need my VLOOKUP for? I actually need the VLOOKUP to look up for names from the database. That is this sheet. I can't, you can't do it manually. For instance, I have 1,000 employee. Do you want me to start doing manual copy and pasting? No. Go back to my payslip. Click on where I want it to appear, where you want it to appear. And what would I do? You clearly enter your formula. On the formula, watch my formula bar here, equal to VLOOKUP. What am I looking up for? I'm looking up for the employer ID. Click on it. Then I'm going to lock this cell by clicking on my F4 as a shortcut on my keyboard. It has locked. The $2 sign means I have locked that. Maybe in my subsequent class, I'm going to explain why we need to lock one of the sometimes we need to lock the cell. In fact, most of the times, and it has a reasons. But for now, let's continue. Then my comma. I'm following what this VLOOKUP is telling me. It said look up, then the table array. I have two ways of doing it. The shortcut. Remember, I'm going to just strike on the F3 on my keyboard. It's going to give me staff data. Staff data. You click on my staff data, then comma again. Now, the staff data, let me go back to my database to check something. Now, I want to go check what column. The next thing is column index. What column is my employee's name? Now, go back to your database. My employee name is in what column? I have column A, column B, column C, column D, column E.